Hi everybody, and welcome to Traveling with Russell, and welcome to a new video, and welcome to Moscow region. Now today I thought I'd take you to see a Russian flea market. Now I've decided to travel to the other side of Moscow from where I live, and there's a flea market right here by the train station, so we're gonna go check it out together. To get to the flea market today, I'm very fortunate because the train actually runs on the line where I live. So I got on at Prelivka, and then I rode the D4 train all the way to Saltykovskaya, right here. We're just a couple of stations short of the end of the line, and the actual flea market is literally next to the tracks. Now this is actually Saturday today, and the trains run about every 10 minutes. So it's very handy. Even on the weekend, they've got a very nice schedule coming out to the other side of Moscow. We need to go down the underpass, and then the actual place where we want to go is starting right where we come out of the station on the other side. Walking through the underpass, I wasn't expecting this. There's actually some people that have got some stands or stalls literally on the underpass. It's actually a really beautiful day here in Moscow today. About 24 Celsius. So I think a few of the people wanted to come down here in the shade and get out of the finally warm weather here in Moscow. But super interesting that there's these little basically cloths that they put down on the floor, and the ladies and gentlemen are doing some trade before we even get out of the station. Also walking up the steps, there's somebody that's got a stall as well on the handrails, all the different clothes and shoes. This is so interesting to see, and I've not even got outside yet. Even here in the suburbs of Moscow, they've got the digital signboard, so it tells you all the departures and which track to get on. It's basically one platform, but the trains obviously go in two directions. But if you want to go old school, this is the entire day laid out on one poster. So you can actually see from 4 a.m. in the morning until 1 a.m. at night, every train that arrives and departs at this station. When you come out of the train station or metro stations in Moscow and Moscow region, they've always got these big circular maps that tells you what's in the immediate walking vicinity. And you can see on this map, there's literally just houses and apartments and a couple of buildings by the train station. But what we've come to see is the Saltykovskaya Flea Market. And there's quite a lot to take in and see. But literally coming right out of the station, there's people right here on the sidewalk. I'm really curious as I walk around how many people come here, especially. They only hold this on Saturdays and Sundays. And of course, being that it's right next to the train station, there's not a lot of excuses to be able to get out here. And I think, of course, a lot of people probably live local, and a lot of people just come for the day to sell their wares and maybe trade some things. And lots of people right here by the station. So as I walk around making this video, I just want to give a bit of a heads up that of course I'm speaking in English on the video, so lots of people are going to turn around and maybe stare at me or, you know, be in the background of the shots. This is really a suburban flea market. It's really very famous in Moscow, and this is on the other side of the city from where I live, so I've come specially to make this video. So just be aware you'll see people in the background maybe looking a little bit strange or almost staring at me, but I can expect that at this kind of place. I think there's quite a mixture of things as I'm walking around as well. So different food stalls, lots of fruits and vegetables, and then lots of just traditional stands and literally people with a cloth on the ground or a table, and lots of different things maybe that you're not used to seeing at a swap meet. Somebody's got onions and potatoes here. Right next to it you can get an air conditioning unit. And then we're going to walk around a few of the different lanes and see what we can see. If you've been to flea markets before, I think it might look quite similar, but then what you're seeing for sale here might be quite different. Got some books, and then if you'd like a new handbag perhaps. There's what looks like a bike seller here as well. He's got some bikes, and then some different stalls with some cutlery. Perhaps this guy actually fixes bikes, I think. So there is actually a few permanent stalls that are set up. I think these are probably very seasonal though. So of course now with the warm weather, there's a lot more open. I know that this is only on the weekend, so this was intentional that I came here today on Saturday. Maybe you need some things for fishing. They have literally a little bit of everything. It's so interesting to check out. So there's a mixture definitely of just weekend sellers, and particularly where we saw them by the train station exit. And then these ones are a little bit more maybe long term, where they've got stands. We might just walk around the back here. There's quite a lot to cover, so it might be a little bit of a longer video. We'll see. Lots of clothes, and perhaps if I need to get myself a new shirt or jacket, you can come to somewhere like this. Lots of interesting things. Got some jeans, and then the gentleman next door here has got some books. So of course everything will be in Russian. We're a Russian market, of course. Maybe some of the older books or something that's not so available. Check this out. Somebody's got some DVDs and CDs as well. That's pretty cool. Wow. And then some of the rock bands. How interesting. He doesn't have any records though. I think I'm going to see a few of these stands as I walk around, but there's a gentleman here that's got different coins and notes and different sorts of paraphernalia, I think is the right word, and some old tools as well. So a lot of things definitely from the USSR times. And there's even in this case here a US $2 bill, and there's some of the new Russian currency as well, and actually the 10 ruble notes, which are actually in circulation now, but they're a little bit harder to get. Some other newly minted coins also right here. Just so interesting, all the different things that are on each stand. I will try and show some things that are a little bit interesting to me when I'm looking at them. And there's a stand here that's got different electrical resistors and circuits and fuses. And there's even some bigger ones right here. I mean, I really don't know what you'd use them for now. Perhaps to fix some kind of electronic item. But it's really like new old stock. And I don't think even in Australia I'd see anything like this at a flea market. Of course, we're also coming into summertime now here in Russia, so some different people have plants for sale, and especially the smaller ones, so you can take them to your country house or dacha. And if you really want to plant them from the bulbs, there's somebody here with the different flowers that you can take and plant. So if you want to start them from the bulb, or if you want to cheat a little bit, you can get them already as saplings. I think I found the main part of the market now, after walking past a few different stalls and stands, and then pretty much the whole way down in the distance here is all the different vendors, sellers. So there is definitely a mix of things that you can get, old and new. Maybe a pair of trainers. What do you think? Or over here, somebody with some vegetables. So just all the classic things. Cucumbers, tomatoes, pretty much all the classic fruits and vegetables. I think this one is eggplant. And now we can see how big this place is. Now when I go to a flea market in Australia, there's actually an entrance fee. Now here, literally, you can just walk around and there's not really any restriction or anything like that. What you do with the one in Australia, it's a donation for a local charity. And then you just put a few coins in the box as you go through. But this one, of course, is just literally on the side of the road here and in the car park. Lots of different things. Definitely plenty of older things, that's for sure. Maybe I need a new vacuum. Not sure what these are. I think they might be battery banks, it looks like. And then, of course, plenty of clothes. Clothes everywhere. Really so many of them. Now this is very much what I expected Australia, the sunshades. Of course, being a beautiful blue sky day, it's so nice to come to a market like this rather than sticking in the house and walking around. When I come to these flea markets myself when I was living in Australia, I actually had a little bit of a side hustle going on where I was buying DVDs and Blu-ray movies and then selling them on eBay. And I was always on the lookout for people's collections of movies and then buying them, generally the whole collection, then reselling them as individual movies. And of course, somewhere like this, really there's pretty much records, cassettes and CDs, and then it stops there basically. And then a place like this has got a lot of things that are from Soviet times and from USSR times. There's really a lot of stands to take in. If you guys go to these where you live, are you on the lookout for something unique? Or maybe you have a collection of something? It's really such a mix of things. Skateboard, petrol can, some tools. Have a look over here. They've got a samovar, which is basically a kettle for heating water for tea. There's a computer hard drive there, and then plenty of jackets. There's another gentleman with the coins and the banknotes, and of course you can buy them. He'll let you know the price of things, but also he actually will buy things for you, so you can actually swap or trade. And the gentleman really is very knowledgeable about the different coins and from different eras that they're from. And then if you don't need some coins, you can get some washing powder. There's also some shampoos there as well. And just so many different things. Lots of hand tools and even scissors. Have a look at those. Some different types of scissors and all the different tools. Lots of things. And if you're wondering how people get in and out when they leave, they've got these porters that will actually help you with your table and get you out to the car to leave. I don't think I need any pens or stationery. Very interesting. Especially to come to a swap meet in a different country from where you live. You know, going to one in Australia, you'll see a lot of similar things, but not really quite the same. things from different eras in the history of the USSR. Some old phones right there. The classic Nokia phone as well. And then you can see just how many stands there are in this next section. I think if I was to actually stop and look at every stand, it would be an all-day affair, especially if you want to look at some of the things that are very small and delicate. There's just table after table of things. Have a look. Kodak VHS tapes in original sealed packaging. That's really something unique. Especially to see a lot of Western brands in Russia. I mean, most things that you're seeing here are not, you know, new as in the last 5 or 10 years. They're definitely older than that. People have got the clothes for sale hanging on ropes like it's washing. I feel like I'm back here in the woods. The market itself just keeps going until there's no more people with stands. It's literally just pieces of wood and a couple of legs, and that's about it. And there's definitely a certain person that's coming looking for things here. Again, I think a lot of people that are collectors of certain items or things from certain vintages. Lots of tools. And it goes right down the street. So we'll keep walking around and see what I can find. Check this out. It's like a belt for jiu-jitsu. I don't even have to play, I don't have to fight, and I can actually have the trophy belt. I think that's the interesting thing about coming to these in Russia. You know, just the varying amount of items. You know, a lot of the normal clothes and shoes and bric-a-brac, and then just that odd item that you just wouldn't really expect to see. I mean, how many people have a jiu-jitsu championship belt? I mean, I wouldn't really perhaps wear it if I bought it, but I'm not too sure. One thing that I always find difficult with these kind of markets is I never really have a plan of what I might want to buy. And in Australia, definitely, it was always just look for CDs and movies, DVDs, and that was it. And I'd pretty much walk by all the other stands and I wouldn't really notice something, you know, or what it is or what they've got. And then, you know, something like this, you know, there's kind of mixes of things. Lots of food here. Lots of teas, and there's even, I think, some oils as well. It's pretty different. Now, I do say that quite loosely, but I know coming to Russian flea markets, this is the nature of it. You came looking for one thing, and you go home with something totally different. As I keep walking around, there's just so many things to take in and understand what they're selling. There's a stand here with a lot of used, I think, shampoos, body wash, lotions. Okay, some of them are new, but quite a lot of them are used. And then over here, lots of appliances. And he's got them literally in the back of the truck. So if you want to get something new, old stock, they have them available for you. And then as I keep walking, the back of the market, kind of the footpath disappears. I think this is the adventure of it all, to walk to the very back corners and have a look for something. Maybe the crowds don't get back here and you can find that treasure hiding in the corner. have a look at some of the axe heads that they've got here. Of course, you'd need a handle, but these have seen some real use over the years. And all of these different tools, maybe something unique that nobody else has got. So they got more axes already prepared there. I think these are the sickles that they use for cutting the grass. Very dangerous if you don't know how to handle them. And then again, just different things on the stand. A little bit of glassware. It's very interesting. Maybe somebody watching collects a certain animal or a certain pattern of item. Is this copper or brass, I think? It's definitely quite an assortment. So this gentleman has literally parked his car here, and then he's got lots of watches too. Have a look at some of the watches. All different types. Maybe a perfume bottle. It's such an assortment of things. And I think that's the real love of coming to flea markets, that, you know, it's finding the unexpected item that, you know, you maybe didn't think you'd ever find, and then you come here, it's right on the table. Wow. Now I say this quite a lot as I'm walking around because, you know, there's just so many things that would just never exist in Australia at a market like this. I mean, we have flea markets. We have these Saturday and Sunday events, and they're very popular to come to. But just the different things here that I just would never be in Australia or in other countries. Another air conditioner, and then just a little bit of everything. I think everybody at home has a drawer full of chargers and cables, and this is really no different. All of the things. And if you maybe want a certain model that just doesn't exist anymore, this is your gentleman to come to. And then walking on a bit further. So it runs all the way down the street as far as I can see. And all of these stands here got lucky with the shade, so it's nice and comfortable to sit and just chill out in between customers coming or someone trying to find a bargain. Once again, I want to thank a subscriber of the channel who suggested that I come to this particular market. After going to a couple of others that you might have seen recently on the channel, I got lots of recommendations of different weekend flea markets that are here in Moscow region to come to. So please let me know in the comments if there's another one that I should come and have a walk around and discover what's here, because there's just such a uniqueness to the ones here in Russia, I think, than perhaps some in other countries. Because this is an outdoor market, there isn't really too much food available. A lot of them are indoor markets that they've got food and fruits and vegetables. There's a couple of stands that have got things here. Pretty much, again, all the traditional Russian fruits and vegetables that you'll see at any market you come to. But generally, when you come to somewhere like this, you can get things a little bit cheaper. And they, of course, want to sell everything by the end of the day. So lots of tomatoes, cucumbers, there's even some peppers right here. And then as I keep walking around, then all the other market stalls kind of wrap around together. Lots of power tools. You don't see these too often at the markets. Tends to be a lot more of the older manual tools. So it's just interesting to see things that you wouldn't maybe see at a normal market. Maybe some binoculars, and then Again, lots of different stands with clothes. So there are a few different food stalls. Literally just have a box of each item, and then the goal is to sell out of pretty much as they can today, because most things have short shelf life, especially things like the berries and things like that. Of course, things like potatoes and onions you can use for a long time. There's another stand over here that's got some salty fish and some pickled vegetables. Very nice. These mushrooms are very nice. These pickled mushrooms. And maybe some different types of salamis. Even they got some cakes back there as well. There's actually a stall here that's got some eggs and cottage cheese. And I think even some fresh milk as well, which is really nice. And different salamis. And I think this one here is salo, which is very well known. Slice of that on a little bit of bread with some butter. Nothing better. There's some, I think, different, maybe chicken or pork there as well. And then also lots of seeds. These are all by the gram, how they have them by weight. There's another stand here with different fruits. Maybe if you want for salad, some greens. These look like they're very popular here. This area again where we are, there isn't really any shops. So you'd have to kind of go to the next neighboring town if you want to get, you know, fresh fruits and vegetables like this. Oh, there's a few of them as I'm walking here. Again, lots of the classic items. Cucumbers, tomatoes are a staple in Russia. They've even got some of these like peaches. I'm not sure what the other one is, nectarines maybe. And then some different cured sausages and smoked meats. These look very nice. Now I'm seeing all the different food, I'm starting to get hungry. I'm still waiting to go and have lunch after the video is finished and seeing all these different hams and salamis. Oh, definitely making me a little bit peckish. Some more fruits. And a lot of these different markets on the weekends mean they'll be year round if they've got some indoor markets. This one, of course, isn't really too busy when you come in wintertime. But now that the sun is out, I think maybe this weekend or last weekend was the start of the season of these different markets. Some different cheeses there as well. Oh, these salamis, very tasty. And then we come back out then to the main area with all of the stands and all of the bric-a-brac. Does anybody have a different word for it? If someone can let me know what the different word is for these types of markets. I've probably walked around for about 45 minutes without filming, just going back to look at some of the stands that I'd already passed by, just to see, particularly the coin and the money stands, to see the different things that they've got. Now I don't know which side to walk on when I'm walking around, and it's just interesting to have a look at some things up close, and you know, especially things that I just would never see normally. I mean, my wife and I, we don't really have anything old or antique in our house. We've got a few things from my wife's parents and grandparents, but not really anything that's particularly old. When you come to something like this and you're really finding, you know, just such a mix of items from all different eras. And this is super interesting, especially this outdoor style market as well, where it's not so organized, just people with everything on tables and laid out just how you see them. Just so interesting. just stand after stand of items. Really like these tea sets. They're very retro, 80s looking. I think there's a certain look to things where you can just put them on the kitchen counter, maybe not even use them, and just admire them for the beauty and design of them. Lots of knives and forks. There's even some different insects here as well. It's such a eclectic mix. I think that's what I've really got to call it as I see things. Some kids' toys, and then these different kettles. So these are the almost retro looking style. These are all brand new, of course, but my wife really loves these. We have a kettle that we can boil on the electric hot plate at home. Anybody like this sort of style? Let me know in the comments if it's something that's interesting for you. There's a few coins here as well. Have a look at this chain. Wow. Very big. And if you want the kind of classic boiler for the coffee right here, I'm not sure what some things are called. Maybe someone can correct me as I'm walking around and showing things. There's another samovar. It's missing the tap there, but I think you could probably find one here walking around enough. Maybe some Christmas ornaments. Some Guerlain perfume back there as well. So I did find something a little bit different. I got some cola here, and it's from Saudi Arabia. And they actually had it on one of these food stands. And actually I could have got 3 of these for $1 US. The guy's having like a closing down sale. But Verticola. It's very similar to Coca-Cola, quite similar. Now I'm sure this is a Saudi local drink. Has anybody had this before? Let me know. I wonder as I'm walking around if anybody's spotted something that you might like. I might have to go into the flea market trade myself. Maybe I can buy things here in Russia and then send them on to other countries. And we could have really international relations, buying and selling things from different countries. The actual stands here have spilled out onto the streets. And it's just a mix of things. You know, some things are actually new and in packaging, and then some things are definitely older than all of us. It's, you know, kind of a interesting mix of, you know, people that have literally just turned up with their car and, you know, selling things on a stand. And it looks like there's a few, pretty much, you could almost call them professional, you know, flea market traders. And then you'll have somebody that'll just come with one bag of items, and that's it. And he'll put them right on the side of the path here. And the very classic Russian car with all the boxes on the roof to go home with. So it's certainly an interesting mix of things. I mean, I really like seeing all these coins and notes, and there's a lot of things that are from the Olympics that were here in Russia, then also the World Cup, so you can find a lot of those sort of different souvenirs. And I can find a set of car tires as well. You really have to know which model they were off. And then lots of clothes as well as I walk down. Maybe a new painting. Maybe my wife needs a new frying pan lid. Or some new forks. You can get a kettle and a trolley jack at the same stand. As the train comes to take me back towards Moscow. Now, generally, when you catch the train in this direction back to Moscow, it's much more full than in the other direction. But look, everybody going to Moscow, just like me. And I'm even struggling to find a seat. Hopefully somebody will be polite. So as I come to the end of the video, I really hope you found this interesting, to go to Saltykovskaya Market and check out some of the things that were for sale. I'm gonna have to hold on because the train just started to move. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. That would be nice. It's a little bit echoey where I'm making this last part of the video from. Let me know in the comments what you think of these flea market videos. If you want to see more of them, I can easily search out another one somewhere and make a video. Perhaps if you're from Moscow, let me know in the comments where another one is that I can go to. If you want to join me on Telegram, there's a link right here. And then if you want to watch an old video, click this link and another video will come up for you to watch right now. And you can keep traveling with Russell. Thanks everybody. I'm off on another adventure. Bye.